Hey, we're about to upload an audiobook using Findaway Voices. Findaway Voices is the way to get your book onto Audible, even if you're outside of the US. But the interface is confusing, complicated, it's not even straightforward linear, and I'll show you how we do it. So here's findawayvoices.com. You go over here and you sign in. So I'm signed in, and we're about to put this person's book online that we finished narrating, and I'll bring it up and I'll just show you how I do it. So I need to grab their cover, and I need to claim the title, and I need to make the cover square. So here's what we do is here's the book, right? It's called A Fair Repair by D. Tozer. First thing I do is I go to the Amazon page and I click on the cover and I right click and open image in new tab, and then right click and save that image, which I will need in a moment to make into a square size, and I'll close that. And then I also need to have this page open to make sure that the title is exactly accurate, as well as the book description. And then I'll even use a little bit of ChatGPT to properly categorize the book. So here's how we do it. Is we go and Findaway Voices to new project. Then what's the name of the book? We grab just the title, not the subtitle, which is A Fair Repair. Begin. All right. And then it jumps us right over here to the audio section. And this is where we upload our audio files. So I guess I'll just show you that part first. So we have our finished audiobook, and we'll upload the opening credits first. And this interface they have, it's really slow. You have to upload one audio chapter at a time. If you try to upload them all at once, they won't all get uploaded, so it is a little bit tedious. But that's why I have my website dfynarration.com, where if you just want me to do this for you, I can. Let's talk. If you want me to narrate the whole thing and upload all of it, we can do that. If you want to narrate and give me the finished audio files and have me do what we're demonstrating right now, I can do that. So we'll upload these chapters, and I'll pause the video because you don't want to wait around for me to upload 7 different audio files. So we'll get these audio files uploaded. It'll just take a moment. And actually, you know what? As those are uploading, let me go back to the book and let me get the table of contents. So because as you can see, we upload this and it has just the files, but we need to name them properly. And so what we do here is you see how there's these chapters, and I have the original manuscript, but let's say you didn't have that handy. What we would do is we would do Windows key Shift S in Windows, and this allows it to draw a box. And then I just go to chatgpt.com and it says, what can I help you with? I right click and paste that screenshot I just grabbed of the table of contents, and I say transcribe this. So that way we'll get the wordage to paste in for each of the chapters, and that way we don't have to retype it and risk having a typo. So while those are uploading, ChatGPT here has this, and so we'll open up Notepad, and we will copy this text and see how that upload's going. And then me personally, I like to kind of do some like the colons. All right, so this will be our see how we're uploading these different tracks, and we'll name these tracks in a moment according to what each of these chapters are. And as these are uploading, before I forget, it's really important that you process your audiobook files to ACX standards. You can't just upload any old audio files. Audible will reject it. And what's a little weird about uploading to Audible through Findaway Voices is that if you upload to Audible through ACX and they reject it, if the spacing at the beginning or the end is bad, if the noise floor or the peaks or the RMS is not what Audible wants, ACX will notify you immediately. But with Findaway Voices, you might just check a month later and it's not even on there. It doesn't show up. and then you will have to email support@findawayvoices.com and have them clear it up. So it's just to know ahead of time. It's not very quick to tell you if it's been rejected when you go through Findaway Voices. And so it's really important that you process your audiobook files properly. That way it will be accepted by Audible. And there's all sorts of notices all in the site to show you that. But now that the audio files are uploaded, you can see that I'm just taking the chapter names and I'm one by one naming the chapters to match what was on the table of contents. Here's chapters 1 through 7, and then we have the summary, and then we have the about the author. So we have all these chapters here. And the difference between ACX and Audible is they have a special place for you to have the introduction and the other chapters. And then you also upload the ending credits and the retail sample. So that takes care of about half of it, right? That takes care of the audio files. And then I told you at the beginning that this process is a little non-linear. Oops, I forgot to show my screen. So here's all the chapters. Here's the ending credits, here's the retail sample, but you can't just submit audio files yet. You have to fill a few more things in. We go back to the metadata, and we go here because we put the title in here, but not the subtitle. So let's go back to the Amazon page, and let's grab the subtitle, and we'll go edit. And there's so many different areas to edit in Findaway Voices. Then we'll copy the book description from Amazon. And then they want a square cover, 3000 by 3000 pixels. I have a separate tutorial on this, but I'll bust this out really quickly. And I'll probably do it without explaining too much because we just want to get this done. So what we're doing is I'm using Photoshop Beta, not Photoshop. I go to this background layer, I double click it, I rename it to layer 0. Then I enlarge the canvas size. So this is 1500 high, we'll make it 1500 wide. And then we'll make the image size 3000. And if I was to explain every last little step, we'd be here for about half an hour. So you can check that other tutorial, but we're basically just sizing this down. We want to keep this bottom corner clear. And we also want to make a mental note that the author name is D. Tozer, and we want to make sure that the author here is also D. Tozer. No doctor, no middle initial, that exact name. And then what I do is I go View Guides, New Guide, and I make it vertical 50%. That way things will still be lined up. I do a Control T to transform. I grab a corner and resize it, and then I hold down Alt to resize it so that way it's still centered. And I eyeball it because, again, we want to have room for their corner there. Looks like that will be clear. So we hit enter. And then we need to fill in the background. And if it's a solid color, that's great, but we're not in luck in that department. So we click on this selection tool, this rectangular marquee. We carefully highlight most of the cover, but not all of it. Then we do select inverse, and then generative fill, then generate. And we're hoping that it will create a, oh no, I'm worried that this might be too close to the character, the letter. So we'll see, we might have to redo it, but this should fill in. All right, that's not too bad. All right, not too bad at all, right? And Audible does not like it if we have harsh edges, so we're in luck there. So I'll just save this as a fair repair cover. I'll save the Photoshop file in case I need to edit it later. Usually don't. And then do it export, save for web. And then I'll save this as a PNG, making sure that it's 8 megabytes or less. And if it's too large, then we'll save it as a JPEG, but 90% of the time, saving it as a PNG will suit us just fine. Waiting for that to preview and process. All right, 2 megabytes, click on save, and now we've saved the PNG file. So that's almost done. As soon as that's done, we can close out Photoshop. Okay, close Photoshop. We don't need it. And now we can go back here and click on the cover art and upload the PNG. That'll take a moment. Then while that goes, let's look on the Amazon page if there's a publisher name. Not on the page. If we read the sample, the first, okay, so it's just D. Tozer. That's okay. We'll just use the author's name. So D. Tozer. And then author name, D. Tozer. Narrator name, it's my name. I narrated it. And then click on save. And they make you save each little section here. And then if there's a red asterisk, that means it's required. So that's not completely intuitive initially, is it? Click on edit, and it's unabridged. The language is English. And then, we need these keywords. So now ChatGPT will come back to the rescue. And here's how I do it. I go and I highlight the Amazon description. And then I go and I give it the categories that we have already, do a couple shift enters, and then if there's any reviews. And then because I narrated, I actually do have the manuscript. So I will upload that. I wish I had it saved as a text file, but that's okay. And then what I'll say to ChatGPT, I'll say, list me the SEO keywords for this book, and then suggest the BISACS. And what is that? It's kind of like the Dewey Decimal System. It's the way that they categorize books. And then when we have keywords here, we just Control C and Control V, and we just paste in a few that make sense. So we don't want ones that are too short or too long. We don't want one word keywords, but we don't want like 4 or 5 word ones. We just want to be like, okay, like what might someone search, right? They might search relationships, self-help. They might search marriage advice, but then couples therapy. Okay, so yeah, we've got a few keywords. Click on save. And then for classification, this is nonfiction. And then age level, I always do 18 plus, even though it sounds weird, but it just means it's like not a kid's book, right? It's a book for the rest of us. And then here's where we need to do a little bit of thinking. Here's the BISAC, the BSACs. And so the primary one, it says, is long-term relationships. So we just start typing. And not all these are even on there. These don't always exist, but I like to do like a primary and then 2 or 3 secondary. So here's, yeah, see here, it says there's self-help, love and romance, but then there's family and relationships, love and romance. Close enough. And then divorce and separation, and then maybe we'll do motivational, inspirational. Okay, so we chose those categories. Click on save. And then if your client or if you have an ISBN for the audiobook, this is the place to enter it, but we don't have that. And then the street date, we just say, set it for tomorrow or a couple of days in the future. You just can't set it to today. And then copyright. And for this, what I do is I look on the Amazon page. So she's copyright 2022. And then the year that we made the audiobook was 2025. And then her name is D. Tozer. And then the copyright owner is D. Tozer. Save. Then there's the price. And if you are only half paying attention to this video and you try to do all this stuff first before uploading the audios, it won't know what to say. But once the audios are uploaded, then it guesses based on the length of the audio. And so we just more or less set this, maybe add a little bit more, right? But you set that price and you click on save. And so now we have uploaded our audios. We've uploaded our cover, filled in all of the metadata, as they call it. And then let's kind of just go left to right and make sure that everything is filled out the way it should be. So distribution. And then here's all the platforms that Findaway Voices will distribute to. And what we would do here is click on View Detailed List. And if you are submitting the book to Audible through ACX, you'd uncheck this. But because this client I'm helping right now is outside the US, we want to send to all these platforms, including Audible, through Findaway Voices. So that looks good. Confirm selections. Do you agree? Yes. And then they say if you, so it must be true. So is this title currently claimed on ACX? No. And then they say, what's the link to Amazon? This is why we open this. So we grab this link from Amazon, we paste it in there, and so that way they can manually match it up for us. Confirm distributors, yes. So now we're sending to Audible as well. Then make sure we have all the audios on there. Okay, all that looks good. And then that's it, right? We click on Submit Audio Files. It says Confirm Chapter Names. All looks good. Confirm chapter names again. And then continue to final submission. And then review and submit. And like we said, this client has not yet filled in their business tax information, so they would have to go to, I believe, My Account Payment and Tax Profile, and then we would be able to go back through here and review and submit, and we can click that one button, and then we're sent off to Findaway Voices. And that's how it's done. That is how we send an audiobook to Audible, to Google Books, to Spotify, to Barnes & Noble, to all these platforms using Findaway Voices. If you thought that ACX was a confusing interface, this is even more intense, but I showed you everything. I walked you through it. I showed you how to make the square cover. I showed you how to figure out the keywords. I showed you how to figure out the categories. I said, fill in this, fill in that. So you have enough where if you really wanted to send this book in yourself, you could. But if you'd rather have me do it because I've seen all the ins and outs, I can avoid the mistakes, I can get it online for you, contact me. My website is dfynarration.com. Let's talk. Let's get your book published, your audiobook, onto all these platforms using Findaway Voices by Spotify, because you can get on Audible even if you are outside of the US. Robert Plank, like and subscribe. Talk to you soon.